welcome back to another episode on the Salon Owners Holistic Blueprint Podcast. I'm your hostess, Jacqueline Rodriguez, and we are going to have Olivia Sanchez, the founder of Suds Cauldron. She is revolutionizing hair care with salon quality products that prioritize sustainability and inclusivity. She was inspired by her own struggles with oily hair and environmental concerns, and Olivia champions scalp health and eco-conscious practices where every hair type finds belonging. I'm so excited to have this conversation, and we are going to talk all about unity in the beauty industry, right? We're going to prioritize sustainability, culture, and inclusivity. Welcome to the Salon Owners Holistic Blueprint, your podcast for unlocking the secrets to a thriving salon business through holistic practices. I'm Jacqueline Rodriguez, your host, and join me each week as we explore wellness, sustainability, and business success. Everything from attracting conscious clients to adopting eco-friendly practices. We're going to cover it all to elevate your salon business.
Hola, it's so nice to be here.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited to dive into who you are and why this mission is so important to you, because I have seen such passion in when we had our conversation behind what this was all about. And I just love hearing all of that. So tell us who you are and why this is so important.
My name is Olivia Sanchez. And, it really, when it came to my hair, it was really about just kind of combining my passion for the environment as well as my cultura. I come from I have a Mexican background, and I come from a lineage of women that for years, like when you see like Frida Kahlo with her hair, like all braided up, it's like, that was my grandmother. Like she had long, dark hair. And a lot of my like family, like older generation, it's like hair was so symbolic and a big part of culture. And they never cut their hair, so their hair was down to their knees. And, being my parents, they came to, the States when in their 20s. And I'm a first generation Latina. So coming in and having those like attributes, like the really dark hair that my grandmother had, and my hair was always long and kind of in between. It wasn't straight, it wasn't curly, it was that in-betweenish stage. And just, growing up with me, just like how clothes is a form of self-expression, our hair is too. Yes. And with me, it was always like I found that I struggled like growing up where I would always dye my hair. And it was, it was a great way of just me kind of like self-expressing myself. But I found that over time, it kind of was more of me really kind of like the self-identity and how it was like being raised here as like a first gen. And I say that because like, growing up, it's like all I knew was just kind of like my environment. So it's like when you kind of, grow up and go to school, it's like the hair was just something that really always was a big part of my life. And, growing up as well, I always struggled with having very oily hair. And it wasn't until later in life, I had bleached my hair. I've gone through everything with my hair. It's not until like I finally was more intentional. Like I started living a more life with intentionality behind like the products I was using, and just kind of going on this path of like a journey of health, like, and that included my hair. And I remember going to the salon. I had bleach blonde hair, mind you. And I went just to get my ends trimmed, right? And I told the girl, I was like, hey, I just want to get my ends trimmed. I just want to keep it, I want to start getting back into, embracing the natural hair. And the lady was just like, girl, do you want me to be honest with you? She's like, I'm going to have to do a little more than a trim. She's like, your hair, girl, is like, basically I had my hair past like down to my belly and I left with a bob. Like it was completely ruined. And that kind of transition to me wanting to, again, seek, like it initially started with me using like bottled shampoo that I found was a lot better for our hair. Like, it was still like a lot of the products that you found in like Walmart, but just kind of looking for more of the natural stuff.
Mhm.
And I found that it really wasn't doing anything with my hair. And that kind of spiraled into me seeking alternatives to more like natural solutions. And, that kind of eventually it ended up to like the bars and discovering the world of bars.
Yeah.
But the problem was that with a lot of the products that I was using, it's like I loved the idea of it. It's like, here's a bar that's reducing water waste. We're reducing plastic waste. It's better ingredients that are in the bar. But I found that when it came to like the hair care industry, the different types of products that you have, because it's, an array of products that are out there. When it came to even like the quality of like your salon shampoo that gives you that really good feel, I didn't find that that was transitioned into the bar world.
Yeah.
I found that a lot of the bars that I was using, they, again, there was that environmental aspect to it. But then when it came to the hair products and the way that it made my hair feel and the difference that it made in my hair, I couldn't find that in when it came to the bar world. A lot of the conditioners were just not, like I would use them and it's like, I wanted to feel that softness, like that, when you just,
Silkiness.
when they, yes, that just amazing feel, like after you condition that feel, it's like, yeah, I wanted that. And I didn't experience that with the bars. And especially with struggling with very oily hair, not being able to find something that truly helped to balance that part of my hair, it led me down this path of like, well, you know what? I'm going to make my own solution. Like, I haven't been able to find anything. And I enrolled in formulation and really dived down this path of understanding the ingredients that I was putting in my hair. Because a lot of times we use products and we don't know exactly how they're made. We don't know what we're putting on our bodies. And I was that person. I was that girl when it came to my hair care products.
Well, I think that's most people, because we're not
Yes.
taught to really like look at the ingredients. We're brand following, right? It's all
Yes.
about the brand, and the
Yes.
brand gets big because influencers and
Yes.
commercials and marketing. So we're really at the core of it. We're not taught to actually look at what is this ingredient? What is this product? We're taught to look at, hey, everybody else wants this. Everybody else is using it.
I
It's
must have
all
it.
over,
Yes.
yeah, all over social media or
Mhm.
all over, the TV.
Yeah.
Every celebrity is using it. I have to have this, regardless of what's in it. So I think there is a
Mhm.
huge disconnect there. And I just wanted to touch on a few other points
Mhm.
that you said, because I think it's so important when we're looking at ingredients and we're going down this, it's still new. The clean, green, and
Mhm.
sustainable
Mhm.
movement in beauty is still new, even though there's people out there who have been doing it for decades, right? I have been specializing in this type of,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
um, environment or experience for 13 years. But the thing is it's still new coming onto the scene. And a lot of people got burned with that same experience of, I want
Mhm.
natural, but I want it to work. And
Mhm.
all of these products with great intention
Yes.
weren't solving the problem. And we were faced with these huge name brands that were, maybe not healthy,
Yeah.
not great ingredients, super consuming of water, resources, and all of that.
Yeah.
And they were giving the product the end result that we had become used to. So
Exactly.
looking at that, right? Looking at the difference and then going forward, like, how do we regain that momentum in a clean, green, and sustainable environment, right?
Exactly.
That's
Yes.
what you went down the rabbit hole to find, right?
Yes. Exactly. And it led me down a deep rabbit hole because it started again with initially, like, for the record, like I never like launching like a beauty brand, especially hair care. It's always been something I've been passionate about, but I never in a million years would have imagined that I would be going down this path, It's like
Yeah.
I went to school thinking I was going to be in HR and just kind of work in corporate America and, be an ally to this, but never be a part of making a product, as well.
Well,
And,
and I want to
go ahead.
clarify for everyone listening. So you're not a stylist, you're not actually in a beauty background business, right?
Correct.
Or you're
Correct.
not in
Yes. Yes. Yes.
a beauty industry professional. That's the word I was
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
You went from a consumer looking
Yes.
for a solution to
For myself.
yes. Yeah.
It really, that was the start of it. It was just not being able to find anything in the market that worked for me, that led me down this rabbit hole of like, what products am I using? Like you see all these ingredients and it's like, what does that mean? What is this? And it's like, so I enrolled in formulation to really discover that, figure out what these ingredients are. And before, again, like before even going, like I've always been passionate about science. And initially, before even starting like my HR career, like I ventured, right? I, went through a lot. Went through a lot. And, but before even doing that, I was going to school to be like in biomedical science. And just really the science part of it has always been another component that really has caught my attention. And I feel like I rediscovered that through this. I went back and pulled that, background back into my life to really find something again that worked for myself. And it wasn't until later that, making this product and really actually like for once I found a product that really made a difference. Like I could finally go more than a day of washing my hair and it not feeling really heavy or greasy and not feeling so self-conscious of the way, again, my hair made me feel. And it wasn't until later that I connected with a lot of other people who were in similar situations when it came to their hair, like a lot of and one of them even being like my mother, who has very, very curly hair. And it's so crazy because like even with her hair, mind you, it's like I've always wanted that curly hair that I obviously didn't end up with, but through her too, and also struggling with that, and then finding that more people were in similar situations as I was, is what led me down to making products that cater to different needs. Making something that will really transform your hair if you have curls and will help to define the curls. Won't dry your hair out the more that you're washing it, but that will actually help to define them. And creating even like our Nova shampoo that's more for somebody, if you're finding that your scalp's more on the drier end, it will really help to keep your hair your scalp hydrated. Because ultimately, when it comes to shampooing, shampoo and conditioner really is the foundation of, your healthy hair journey. And I found that, with the shampoo, I just really wanted something that promoted that scalp health. Because when it comes to shampooing, it really is about taking care of this part of your hair, and then the conditioner is, what just kind of replenishes and restores that hydration after you shampoo on your ends. So, again, wanting to offer different products for that, fill that gap in the market that I saw, and that truly offer representation, no matter whether you have like curly hair, or you're that girl that has oily hair like me. It's like we have you covered. Like, or if you want to even like have fun with it and bleach your hair, it's like we have something that's going to help you with that too. So
this episode is brought to you by the Holistic Salon Academy. At the Academy, you gain access to knowledge, tools, and a thriving community you need to excel in the clean, green, and sustainable beauty business. By joining the Holistic Salon Academy, you become a pioneer in a new era of beauty and wellness. Amazing. So it covers all aspects. So
exactly.
I'd love to hear, like, with your family background and everything, and when you were diving into the ingredients of it, did you dive into like maybe what your family used before to have that nice healthy hair, or like what big part of that played a role in you creating your product line?
So with my okay, my family, like ancestors, like when we would go to Mexico, because we used to visit frequently when I was younger. And with them, they were really big farmers and planning, and they also had like they raised cattle as well. So it was always more of like that farm life. They lived in a ranch, like that kind of like Courage a Cowardly Dog, how it's kind of like in the middle of nowhere. Like that's kind of where my family grew up in Mexico. It's like very humble beginnings, and everything that they ate came from the land. It's like the closest store was miles and miles away. So when we moved here, my mother also was really passionate on gardening. And till this day, it's like not being able to visit Mexico, she brought a lot of the plants that she grew up with here. So in her garden, that's all you see. And with me, when it came to even creating products, I wanted something that really embodied that as well. Like I'm a very big on composting, and a lot of people, and living in Florida too, mind you, we're one of the biggest contributors that when it comes to water waste is runoff water, and we have hurricanes here and beaches here. So that kind of, and that runoff water, it ends up like people using like fertilizer and stuff. That eventually, when it rains, that water and all that extra stuff that's in the fertilizer gets combined, and it ends up, polluting our water. And when it came to a bar, like the bars, it really was also about formulating something that really has an impact when it comes to the environment. And that kind of also stemmed again back down to like my ancestors and really being one with the lands. Again, they depended on the lands for food. So again, it was about, even like with our packaging, being very intentional about using something that at the end of the day you can compost, and even with the ingredients, being very intentional about even using like for example, like even like our shea butter, working with the farmers who are actually hand making this, as opposed to working with commercial farmers, so it's like every little, when it comes to, again, even just down to the ingredients that I used, I was very intentional about what ingredients I wanted people to be putting in their hair.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and it stems back on so many different levels, right? So when we talk
Yes.
about sustainable beauty, and this is what I teach in the academy too, is like sustainable beauty isn't just getting rid of plastic or just recycling. It's every piece of
Exactly.
the product, from how it's made, fair trade. Are those people, the farmers, are they actually being taken care of? Are they getting paid
That
regular
part.
living wages? Right. So it embodies so much more, down to every ingredient, who makes it, how it's being shipped, how it's every little piece, right? That
Yes.
is what
Yes.
sustainable beauty is about. And I think that we lose that in when we're
Yes.
talking marketing, and when people really look at what is a sustainable beauty, they automatically define that as, I got rid of plastic or I recycle my plastic, which is
Yes.
fantastic. And there's so much more. And that's what I was like really just loving about your brand when we had that conversation, was you really looked at all of the different steps of it, and how can you be intentional and align your values with what you're creating, which is
Exactly.
beautiful.
Yes. It And like to your point, what you're saying, a lot of people just think of the plastic part of it, and that's a layer of it. It's like all layers. But what I love so much about this is that I have been able, like through this journey, I have been able to connect with so many people who, it take like so many people in so many different areas of it, who, with all of us, it's like we're all working, like it takes a community effort. And it's so beautiful to see so many people find a passion in, like, when it comes to even like the food that we're consuming, and making sure that the ingredients that we're putting, the food that we're actually putting in our bodies is nutritional, right? That it's made in soil, again, going back to that. harvested, using soil that's actually good for us, that it's not, it just, yeah,
It's
it
not
all,
filled with pesticides and
yes,
fertilizers that is going to harm the water, the food, the whole
everything just
chain.
connects. Yeah, everything connects. And once you realize that, it's like, again, and we're all just trying to do better.
Yeah.
And doing better doesn't always look perfect, because we're not perfect, and this path but it's just, again, opening your mind and just realizing that having that intentionality behind our choices, because like everything in this world, money talks. So
Yeah.
the choices that we make with our money and what we do in our everyday really has an impact, and realizing that.
Yeah. Well, I say it all the time. We vote every single day. We vote with what we purchase, what we spend
Yeah.
our money on. And when we're making these votes, we are either supporting small businesses who are out there doing the amazing things like you are, right? Creating that intentionality behind what you're selling. Yes, you are a business. Yes, you get to make money. Yes, all of that is involved. And when we support and vote with our dollars to businesses like yours, because there are so many out there, we don't hear about
Yes.
them because they're not in the big media.
Yes.
You don't hear about them because you're working behind the scenes and you don't have the funds to go out there and get $1 million commercials, right? Like
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
part of why I do what I do, is creating the academy and creating the podcast, is to bring awareness to people who are doing exactly that. Because I have found through my journey that there's so many amazing entrepreneurs who not only have created and filled a gap, but they have super high intentions and caring intentions to actually make a difference, right?
Yeah.
And when we find them, supporting them, even though they're not the big name brand,
Mm.
I find that more than not, the product works even better now, right? So, and this is when we
Yes.
started, we talked about that whole, we were burned a little bit because the
Yes.
technology wasn't there, the education wasn't there, and people were trying to do really great things, but it just wasn't lining up.
Yeah.
Now everything has shifted so much over the last 5 years that I have
Mhm.
seen people creating these amazing products that can compete beautifully with the bigger name brands. It's
Yeah.
just voting with our dollars and like showcasing that this is just as good, if not better, than our name brands. So I just applaud you for sticking it out and taking the time to have intention behind every single decision in your business. It's just
Mhm.
amazing to see.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. And I appreciate you being on the show and showcasing your amazing product, but then also bringing that inclusivity and bringing the full circle of sustainability to shelves everywhere. So tell us where we can actually find your products so that anyone listening, we can, if whether you're a refillery owner or if you're a salon, like we can take a look and try out your products.
So you can find us visiting our website on www.sudscauldron.com. And when you visit our website, we are also, again, we're a small business, and over the years, we have partnered with some amazing local businesses all across zero waste shops, salon owners as well, who share our commitment to this. And if you live near one of these shops, I highly recommend you to come check them out. There are so many, like, even amazing salons who, it's so great to see this industry that's completely shifting the world, and that's what you're doing. And in like, yeah, so there's a lot of amazing salons that you can also check out where you can find our products. Some of these shops have like we have our fun size bars. So we have full size bars, and then we also have our fun size. Our fun size bars are a great way for traveling. They both are really, but if you want to kind of pack really light, and at salons, you can experience the like at some of these salons, you can go in and they will actually take their time to show you how to use the product, and you can take them home. And we offer also, like, in the refillery sections, you can find us, and you can also find us on the shelf. So you have options with us.
I love it. I love it. And it's such a beautiful segment of this industry. And I really encourage anyone listening, like, what do we have to lose? Look at what's important to you as a salon owner, as a consumer, and just take one step towards it, right? This is where, as salon owners and hairstylists, when we find these gems of businesses who are actually doing amazing things in the world, we get to experience them first and then bring it to our clientele. And when we start making that shift and we start raising that awareness, that is where all of the pieces are going to come together, and we can actually make big, real change in the industry. So I encourage you to check out, Suds Cauldron. Make sure you take a look at their products, try them out, and then go back and let us know what you thought. Like, tag us, let us know how you loved it, and then we can start bringing more and more into the industry. So thank you again for being on here. I'd love to have you back on the show and like talk deeper, right? Because we could just keep talking, and I promised that I would keep it to a certain time. But thank you again, and just amazing products.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining today's episode. I really hope you enjoyed the training. And if you have any questions about anything I talked about in today's training, or honestly, anything I've talked about on this podcast, I want you to go to www.cleanbeautybiz.com/advisor. Or you can click the link in the show notes where you can ask me any questions you have about this episode or anything else that I have covered on this podcast. Again, that link is www.cleanbeautybiz.com, and this amazing little tool allows you to get your specific questions answered by me 24/7. Thank you for tuning in to the Salon Owners Holistic Blueprint. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow and subscribe. Until next time, stay inspired, stay passionate, and keep thriving in the world of holistic beauty.